Hey guys, this is Sven Builder and you are at the Startup Chef, the place where we help entrepreneurs have an amazing life while they're building a great business. Today I want to talk with you about WeWork. Remember, the company that rents out offices worldwide. It doesn't matter if you work in a city or you're traveling in a city, they're offering spaces anywhere. Very simple, it's a perfectly designed space that has all the convenience to help you as an entrepreneur have a perfect time or a perfect meeting. Now, what you have been seeing, of course, that since recently in the news, there were big speculations, right? With the latest investment from SoftBank into that company, it was valued almost $40 billion. And currently, at this moment, at the beginning of October, their valuation has plumped with almost 75%. So that means from 40 back to 10. And at this moment, it's also still very doubtful if these guys will stay into business. What do you think? Will it be a Tyrannos? Please leave the comments below so we can start the conversation. The reason why we're here today is because I want to inspire you, or at least give you some takeaways, what has actually happened and what are the five what are the five things, the five takeaways that we can learn from this story. The first thing is, of course, a great business has a business model that works, right? But the bad ones will fail. So just imagine, a business is very simple, right? You're buying a product for, let's say an apple, for $1, right? You're selling it for $3, you're making a profit in between for $2. Very simple, sell 100,000 and you're in business. The other thing here, what happens in WeWork with a valuation of over $40 billion is that the truth is that they're leasing their office spaces, right? So they don't buy the office spaces. So their current business model is they're renting out seats. Can you imagine, seriously, how many seats need to be rented out every day, every month, every year to almost come up with a revenue or profit generation for all of their investors? Let's say one of the guys is running into a scam, right? All of the people suddenly leave the office. Where's their recurring revenue? Very difficult. So, in my opinion, the business model from WeWork has not been working in the start. In counterpart, what should be the case is that they didn't lease their office spaces and then later on rented it out. It would be a way better business model if they actually would own the real estate so they enjoy the appreciation and then start renting it out. I'm very sure when that would happen is that the company would be in way better state, because real estate, as you know, is one of the most sustainable investments that you can ever imagine. And the true takeaway here is that you should evaluate your business model, right? So a question that you could, for example, ask, how can I simplify my business that it allows to scale? Or another question is my current business actually able to scale and reach millions? And if not, what could you change in your own business model so you know for sure that if you have a valuation in the future, right, then it makes sense? Okay, that's for number one. Number two, the truth holds and lies die sooner or later. I mean, we all have it, right? Let's be honest, we have all did a lie, including me, and I'm sure as well including you. Now in this case, when it comes to, for example, an Adam Neumann, who is a CEO, which I'm not saying that he's lying, but he's very good in creating a conspiracy theory. He's very good at storyteller, right? And what eventually comes at the service of the company as soon as they're going into an IPO is that there was suddenly a situation where people found out that he's renting out the trademark of WeWork for millions of dollars, right? Or he is typically renting out his own real estate back to WeWork. Those things are all a little bit scammy, right? So let me bring this back into a lesson. The truth holds always. So the question that you should ask yourself is here, am I making promises currently in my business, that are difficult to keep? And if you know so, right, then try to fix those, because sooner or later the shit hits the fan, positive, negative, it doesn't matter, and your personal warranty as an executive, right, is coming into discussion. And that's something that you always want to know. And coming back to WeWork, it means very well that Adam Neumann, which is not the CEO by the way anymore, has been put down because of these activities that are very questionable. Okay, so we had number one, we had number two. Number three, Valuation is the bridge between stories and number. We all know, and for those of you who know me very well, I believe a founder always should be in control of their own company, right? So it's amazing to attract investors, that you can allow them to participate in your business. But with all of those investors, and especially ones that are making a living out of it, an investor makes money from investing now and sooner or later exiting, right? Or going in this situation, for example, to an IPO, right? But an investor can also make money by putting a certain valuation, right? And then attracting external money, in this case like SoftBank did, and then artificially growing that valuation to a number, which is actually far from the truth. And if you combine it to the business model where we just were talking about, you will very much understand that if the business model doesn't make any sense, how in God's name is the valuation going to make any sense, right? So the valuation is the bridge between storytelling and numbers. So know your numbers, right? Always know your numbers, and ask yourself very realistically, with the current numbers that we have today and the macro influence that is anywhere around us, what can we really expect in relation to the coming trends, right? And your stories, like Adam Neumann is, I mean, I'm for sure if he would be a comedian, he is really the guy that is able to deliver amazing stories, and most probably on their hangouts with his friends, he's the one that always does the work. And investors like to buy into these stories. And that has happened here, right? But what you will see is the truth will always reveal, because as soon as they went to IPO, which means that all of the analysts, all of the journalists, all of the security councils, etc., are going to dive and squeeze into your company, and they see that there are certain things are just typically not okay. Number one, we had it. Number two, we had it. Number three, we had it. Number four, what is the real takeaway? Dream big. Have a compelling vision. I mean, we all dream, right? And we are here one time. What we say is like life is a one-time opportunity. Why don't you allow yourself to really dream big? In the case of Adam Neumann, he was able to persuade investors, right? In investing a lot of money inside of his company that went all the way to $40 billion companies, right? And why is that? Because he had a world vision. Think like Mark Zuckerberg, right? He had a world vision. That's why he attracted investors. Think about Jeff Bezos. He had a world vision. But I don't want to think about all of these rock stars, which are more like to count on one hand. I would like you to inspire yourself. What could be your big vision, right? What is the biggest vision that you can bring to the table? I mean, create a 10-year plan, and where do you see yourself and your company actually going? And if you would tell it to other people, that would be your friend who invested in the company or a hot shot investor, your story will become way more powerful. Now, back to number five, and I think this is very important, right? What you see in the WeWork culture is that it's a man's world, and not by coincidence, we are living here mixed with guys and women, right? And what is the thing always with guys? They always have the biggest mouth, right? And sometimes they say, okay, they always walk with a dick in their hands. But in this case, right, where there's so much testosterone and steroids in a boardroom, how can people really make great decisions, right? So I believe adding a board member in the personality of a woman to your company really tempers the discussions and really takes care that companies are more sincere in doing business, right? A good example are that on an international scheme is that certain governments are formed by women, and those are actually one of the better countries in the world. So my question for you is, challenge yourself. Would you be able to attract more like a female business founder, right? Or if there's a woman listening, okay, you know what I'm talking about, right? So hopefully you get a lot of applications after everybody's watching this video. But I strongly believe that if we add more emancipation, femininity, female mixture ingredients, like the Startup Chef, we're putting the business and the ingredients all together. then your company has always another perspective, and not just from a guy, but from the other species. So this was it for today. It was just a small little video. I hope that it had inspired you. What I do every week, every month, what do we do it? Every 2 weeks, sorry. We're giving away a free call where I would like to advise you on a variety of stuff. So if you think like, okay, that you would love to have a 30-minute call, right, where we just have a fresh chat over your business, leave a message below, which is called the Startup Chef. And on top of that, I would really like you to click the bell so my message goes out there. And if you think that I would like to share some more stuff with you, give me some content ideas and I will think about it. Anyway, this was all for today. Have an amazing day. See you at the next one.